The Louisiana legislature is about 2/3 of its way through its legislative session for this year. A lot of talk about my freedom of choice. Leave me alone, keep government out of my business. I want to have my freedom to do what I want to do. And look, I'm a big believer in that. I don't disagree whatsoever. But you know, sometimes freedom is a two-way street. What is your freedom can impinge upon me. And so you got to have a balance to make all this work. And let me give you an example about what I'm talking about. Came to mind, to me at least, in this debate in Louisiana about abolishing the mandatory requirement that you wear helmets when you ride a motorcycle. Now, we all know that motorcycles are very dangerous and that if you got any common sense at all, you ought to wear a motorcycle helmet. But I can understand the freedom issue where it's your choice, it's your life, you can do whatever you want to do. Here's where the conflict comes in. Let me start off by saying this. There's nobody out there listening who's been on a motorcycle more than me. I grew up on a motorcycle. I've had every kind of bike you can think of, a Honda dirt bike, a Kawasaki 250cc off-road bike. I've had big road Hondas. I've had probably the best motorcycle in the world in terms of off-road, on-road combination. That's the BMW GS 1150. I had that bike for about 6 years. Rode all over the South on that bike. Went from here to Austin, Texas. I've been on a motorcycle a whole lot. I love the wind in my face. Having said that, you're crazy if you don't wear a motorcycle. Now again, that's my choice, that's my decision. And so if you don't feel that way, I don't care how you live your life as long as you don't get into my face. I won't get in your face, you don't get in my face. And I gave you a specific example of what I'm talking about in this motorcycle debate. If you're crazy enough not to wear a motorcycle helmet, then the odds are if you have an accident, you're going to get a head injury. You can survive without an arm, without a leg, with some heavy scars in your body. But a serious head injury is going to put you out of commission and could well, either, if it doesn't kill you, could make you into a comatose person for the rest of your life. Now, again, that's your choice, except this. Most of the time, it's young kids or someone that's pretty irresponsible that has no insurance or maybe the minimum insurance. In Louisiana, it just became mandatory that you had $10,000 worth of insurance. Only $10,000. What good is that going to do? $10,000 barely covers the cost of the EMS people and the ambulance getting you off to the hospital. If you've got a serious brain injury, you could be on the public dole, your dole and my dole, for the rest of their lives. And that's where you get into my face. I don't care if you want to have your freedom. I don't care if you don't want to ride with that wind in your face and don't wear a helmet, but don't make me have to pay for it. That's where you cross the line. And in most motorcycle accidents where there's a serious head injury, you and I, the public, have to pay for it because I don't care how much insurance you have. If you don't have significant insurance, then you and I are going to have to pay the bill, that person going to the charity hospital or any other hospital that takes care of them, but puts the bill onto you and me, the public bill. And I object to that. So what I would suggest to the legislature is, I think, first of all, you're foolish to even not wear a helmet, number one. But if you want that choice, pay for that choice. Don't get into my business. Sign a waiver either that you will not make any claim on the public dole, but that's not good enough because if you're unconscious, of course, we got to take care of you. Have at least $500,000 of insurance. And a lot of us out there have liability insurance for those limits in case you get sued. I've got $500,000 coverage. If you got $500,000 coverage, that still may not cover a serious brain injury that makes you comatose, but at least it covers most of the cost. Again, let me give you something. You know what you call a motorcycle rider who doesn't wear a helmet? An organ donor, right? But again, that's your freedom of choice. Just don't mess with my freedom of choice. You can make the argument to some degree with the smoking ban. I know that I'm a non-smoker and I've got a choice whether to go into this restaurant or into this bar, but casinos are mandatory. If you want to go down and play the slot machines like some of my friends do, then of course you have no choice. You got to put with the smoke, and people come out of those casinos, you can kind of wipe them off on their skin. It feels like the black dust comes right off. That's their choice. I don't care about that. But if you're not a non-smoker, what do? And so I'm not saying you should or should not allow smoking, wear the helmet, not wear the helmet. It's just when you demand your freedom of choice, don't get into my face. keep it different. If you disagree, I want you to call me. But at least we know the drawing board in terms of where we got, in terms of what freedom of choice is all about.